This is a rant. That's really what this is about to be. I'm tired, if you couldn't tell. I'm mentally tired. Mentally tired, spiritually tired, physically tired. Just tired overall. And I'm tired because I'm one of those individuals that is just trying to understand a lot of ways and beliefs and perspectives. And I know at the end of the day, I have my own belief, my own perspective, my own understanding. And I believe we all individually are unique in our own way, right? Yet when I look at myself and I look at others, I see a lot of similar beliefs, which is interesting. But I think even just with my experience and everything I've been through, the way my brain works, I see so much. I feel so much. And I can agree to a certain extent with a lot of people's differences, opinions, beliefs, views. And I don't disregard any of them, right? Because we all see what we see. We all experience what we experience. And for me, it's like really deep because I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. I see so many things, and with each individual, everybody has their own way, and sometimes I feel like they're so strong in that foundation, in that belief, in that reality. So for example, I feel like I've lived multiple different lives, so I see multiple different views and perspectives and things. And of course, I'm still learning, right? And yet with other people that I've come into contact with, discussions with, understandings with, older, younger, what not, like some of these people I feel or have explained to me, I'm seeing this beautiful bird outside. It's yellow and black. It's so beautiful. And I believe it's symbolic for rising like a phoenix type energy. But that's where I'm like really trying to work towards or speak on. So we look at the world today. We look at the religious aspect, religion, right? Man-made religion. And we look at spirituality. And we look at all these different programs, different beliefs, different just understanding. I don't really like to use these certain labels, but you kind of have to understand certain things. So for me, I grew up in a religious dynamic. So I grew up Seventh-day Adventist, where you go to church on Saturday. And growing up, I didn't really understand a lot of things. I still don't understand that religion per se and why it is, because like me now, like I've studied with Jehovah's Witnesses, I've studied with Mormons, I've gone to different churches, I've spoke with different people and their beliefs about the rapture, Jesus' second coming. And I've dabbled into spirituality and how people don't believe in the fact that there is a God or the fact that Jesus is coming back, and just all these different confusing things, right? And so it's like no wonder I have this that I'm tired, have this frustration within me, especially in my mind and my spiritual self, because it's I believe there is a higher power. I believe there is something bigger than all of us. And we are human. We have this human vessel, right? And we don't understand pretty much a lot of things. We know certain things. We have this certain knowledge, right? This certain wisdom, this understanding of history and all these things that happen. But then you have to look at it even at a broader picture. Like, there's certain hidden gems, hidden wisdom, hidden knowledge that we weren't taught. So like we look at our parents, they were taught something, right? And so they teach us from a young age what they were taught. And yet when we get to a certain age, we're starting to understand the world for ourselves, and we start to question all these different things because we come into contact with other people who have this other understanding, other beliefs. And so for me, experiencing the life that I've already experienced and having this understanding of all these different beliefs, it's like, why? That's like the main question that I continue to ask myself is why? And of course, I'm still learning and gaining this insight and perceptions and wisdom, because at the end of the day, we don't know everything, right? And we may never know everything. We probably won't know everything, right? And for me, it's more as how can I find that peace within myself that I'm okay with this one belief or these many beliefs, right? And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with sometimes, especially with the experience with just having lived multiple lives, especially growing up in a very toxic, negative environment. Because for me, I've talked with a lot of people in the church that believe in God and Jesus Christ coming back to save them. And a lot of these people never really experienced darkness. They've never experienced like the deepest, darkest, like, trying to commit suicide, being raped, all these horrific things. They may have heard about them, but they've never truly experienced them. And so for me, I think just experience all these different things. So I've been raped. I've been sexually assaulted multiple times. I grew up in a very toxic environment. I've had a lot of horrible shit happen to me in general, okay? And I've worked on that healing aspect of those things, of understanding why I went through those things, because I believe those things happened for me, even though they were horrific. And in the moment, I didn't understand that. Yet, I look at it now, it's helped me, like, gain all this wisdom and become the person I am today. And a lot of people, like, find that really hard to, like, wow, you've overcome all these different obstacles in your life, right? And it's like, well, yeah, I have. And that just goes back to my belief and all this, like, questioning why we have all these different beliefs, because there's so many people that go through these traumatic things and they're like, why would God do this? Why would God have this plan for humanity? And I think that's like, there's so many questions to ask. And it gets so deep, because I see so many people just like settling for this one belief or this one way. Yet they don't know all these other different perceptions, or even if they do, right? Even if they do, they still settle for this one way. And for me, in my experience currently, it's like it's not that I don't want to settle, and it's not that I'm questioning God first, in a sense. It's more I'm questioning all these beliefs, questioning all these ways, trying to question every little thing. And maybe that's where people might say, well, it's no wonder you're confused. Well, it's not that I'm confused. It's like they talk about in the Bible how these different prophecies are happening. But then you got to look at the hidden messages that weren't told to us throughout history. We got to look at, we really have to look at every little thing. And we don't have to, but we should. We should at least try to see all these different perspectives and beliefs. And at the end of the day, we're human, right? You know, if we really want to go back to, God the creator and how he created everything. And it's like, why did he create this plan? And obviously we're human, right? So we're not going to understand the whole picture. Yet at the end of the day, it's like your mind wonders. Your mind really thinks about that question. At least mine does. And that's why I'm talking about this, because currently I am struggling with certain things. Because it's a lot. It's a lot, but it's also scary. It's scary. It's frustrating. It's like, why, God? Right? Why create humanity when you already know this is all going to happen? What is the bigger plan? So we can just, go up to heaven and then you tell us? And that's where that trust and that faith comes in, right? So we have to have that trust and that faith that he's going to take care of us. But there's so many other little aspects that is really just, you have to it's like going down a rabbit hole. It's like really deepening and just trying to wrap yourself around all of it. At least that's what I'm doing, reading the Bible, seeing all these different perspectives, because even the Bible, I've been told that, the Bible's changed over time. The Old Testament, the New Testament, they're all connected. But then for me, it's okay, the Old Testament, maybe this is the shadow of the New Testament. And when you go into spirituality, they talk about shadow work, right? So in my mind, I look at it as, well, is the Old Testament the shadow work that they're talking about? Even though shadow work is looking at your, your past, your demons, all these different things that you're healing from. And then it's the New Testament, so your new version of yourself. So is that what that is connected to? And just so many other different wild things that I've heard. The fact that we are gods, God lives within us, right? We're Christ-like. We have that Holy Ghost within us. But we're not gods. God is the creator, and we're just co-creators. Because for me, the New Age spirituality, there's a lot of different beliefs and perspectives there. The fact that we come from different galaxies. Some of us are not, necessarily, we're all different kind of beings. We come from different places, different galaxies, and we've, I've delved into the ancient Egyptians and how they believed they were gods and certain things like that, right? So it's where did all these stories come from? Us, human beings, right? But at the end of the day, you really gotta dig deep into these different stories. Because even the Bible is technically story, history, all this wisdom and knowledge. But then you got to look at the fact that there's a lot of books that weren't put into the Bible because of why. And I'm still understanding all this. Like I said, I don't know everything. There's all these little things that people may know or understand even more than I do. And that's where I do go to certain people or talk to certain people and their perspective, their understanding, and what they've researched and studied, right? Yet at the end of the day, it's still my job to understand what I understand for myself, because everybody has their own perspective. Everybody has their own belief. You just got to, for me, I also want to hear what other people have to say, because we all have this mind, this powerful mind within us, and God created us all, because you got to look at the whole human race, right? In general, It's not just about our skin color. It's not just about, certain aspects of ourselves, right? It's about all of it. You gotta kind of like put it into play. So why, for me growing up, I dealt with a lot of racism, like just because of my skin color. So it's like, why the separation? Why did God create, different colored people, right? And obviously there's a story to that too. Because even different languages and all these little details that we kind of like don't really think about too much. I know there's a purpose for each and every one of us. I know there's some kind of uniqueness within us that not others may understand. And there's those things where they talk about, well, some people go through more turmoil than others because they may have a bigger purpose on earth. And even though like I agree to that to a certain extent, it's still like, okay, my experience, I've been through a lot of darkness. And I believe I have a very big purpose on this earth, which I'm still trying to figure out. Like, I don't know exactly what it is, because, like, for me, like, I love talking to people, gaining this wisdom from others. I love teaching others, helping others understand themselves better, become better versions of themselves, just to challenge themselves to see where they can go in life. And maybe that is just my purpose, right? Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm still trying to figure out where I fit in, right? Because for me, I never felt like I fit into a certain group or around certain people, and that's what I've really struggled with my whole life. I always felt like I was an outcast. I always felt like I was just like a loner, even though I had friends here and there, right? But I didn't have a lot of friends, and I still don't consider myself to have a lot of friends. It's really hard for me to like just say that word friends now, because I've had a lot of people that I considered my friends, but they weren't really my friends. And so there's that aspect of it all. Just feeling like, where do I fit into all of this? And even asking God, like, okay, like I know I'm here for a reason, right? I've tried to take myself out a few times, but I'm still here. So I had to like really understand certain things of why I went through certain things, but also not settle on the whole idea like, well, this is where I'm meant to be kind of thing. And I think that's why I struggle at times, because it's like I see all these different viewpoints, perspectives, beliefs, and I myself like to challenge myself. I like to really, I would consider myself, I don't like to consider myself a perfectionist, but that is the word to use. So I really want to challenge myself, my mental self, my spiritual self, my whole being, to just see where it will take me, because it's like I've been through darkness. I've been so low that I didn't want to stay there. I didn't want to feel that way anymore. And I hear others talking about, happiness, joy, peace, love. And I've always struggled with those. Having that happiness, having that content that I'm okay with where I'm at. Because I'm always, not always, but I really feel like I'm always on the go, or trying to like figure out what can I do next, instead of just being comfortable in this present moment. And even though I've really worked on that and I've done a lot better than I've had before, it still stems back to my, my beliefs, the way I tick, the way I do things, why I'm here, what is my purpose, and just all these other things. So many different things. But my thing is just trying to, not even trying, because I mean, that's another aspect you can look at. Like, stop trying, right? Well, it's like that's easier said than done. Because it's like there's certain things that you do need to try. Like for me, it's going back to church, finding a church, finding a Bible study, finding a study or someone that I can, really work with to help me understand the Bible more as well too, because that's the other aspect for me. Like, I always loved reading the Bible. I always loved studying it and learning. Yet I also had people tell me, well, this is the truth. This is what you're supposed to believe, or this is really what is true. And that's where it was just really hard for me to be like, well, I'm like, I get what you're saying, but you've been raised in this belief since forever. Me, I haven't. So it's not that easy for me to just switch my belief and believe that this is the truth. I mean, if you really want to simplify it and not even put religion in this matter, for me it was really hard for me to love myself and believe that I was beautiful the way I am, and just embrace who I am as an individual, as a human, as, this person, as Felicia, right? And that still takes time. That belief within me, that just believing that I'm this good person, that I have a purpose here, that I'm loved, that all these different little things, right? You don't even have to put religion or certain other beliefs in it. It's just believing in myself that I can do what I need to do, get to where I want to get to, believing in these goals, believing in myself. And so if you look at that kind of aspect, that's been a journey for me, because since a young age I was taught to not love myself. I was taught my skin color was ugly, my hair, wasn't, good, my body wasn't beautiful, all these different other little aspects. And that's why I get so deep into all this, because it's not even just about, faith, God, religion, spirituality. It's deeper than that. And I think that's what makes me question a lot of things, everything really. And I try not to beat myself up about the way I think and the way I am, because that's another struggle for me, is just knowing that I'm right where I need to be. And I think the way I think because of everything I've been through, right? Even though it is it's annoying. It's annoying and it's exhausting, and it just goes back to being me saying I'm tired. I am so tired, and sometimes I do wish that I didn't think the way I did. But I know it's a beautiful thing as well too, because I'm meant to have this mindset. I'm meant to see all these things a certain way, because there is a bigger purpose for me. And so that's kind of my rant. And I just needed to share this, because this is what I've been going through lately. Just trying to understand a lot of different things, a lot of different perspectives, because that's just how my mind works. It's I'm always talking to myself. Always trying to understand something, and why as humans work the way we do. Why God's plan is God's plan. Why all this destruction? Why all this corruption? Why all these different beliefs? Because everybody has opinion about it. But why? And it's just something to think about. Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. Comment, if you want. If not, cool. Share your thoughts, share your wisdom, share what you believe and why you believe it. Share something, comment something, because I always like to hear other people's perspectives. Like, I'm that person that doesn't want to make somebody believe something just because I believe it. I want them to find their belief for why they believe it. I don't want them to just settle because all these other people settle for it or whatever it may be, because I don't look at it as a bad thing, settling. I don't look at anything really as a bad thing, because I believe everything happens for a reason. Now, there's certain things that are really sad and frustrating and all these things, right? Yet there's always a reason to something. And that's like my core belief. Everything happens for a reason. Everything is connected. Whether it be God's plan, the universe's plan, whatever it may be. Yet I know there's so much more than we realize. Because we are human. We are imperfect. We are still trying to figure out life in general. It may be this just like puzzle piece game that we're trying to figure out, and that may just be God's plan. But at the end of the day, why? So, if you like this video, if you like, anything about this video, please like it, comment, maybe share if you feel called to share. But yeah, so thank you for listening. Thank you for just finding this channel, because at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason, right? So have a beautiful day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are. Bye.